What up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to my podcast show, The Chocolate Lot. My name is Almaruthe. I'll be your host this evening. And with that said, I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone for all the happy birthday wishes. About 2 weeks ago, I had my birthday, April 14th. 28 never felt so good. And also thank you for all the congratulations. I just got a call from a big girl job, my first one. And, I'll be graduating from the university in about 3 weeks' time. So it's an exciting time in my life. I'm very spiritually in tune and just trying to enjoy the moment. And, I've worked years endlessly to get to this point. So why not enjoy it? Why not, just take it and, let it push me forward. So that's what I'm doing. With it, I want to say, I want to make this a tradition where I'm going to present a quote and I'm going to present a cultural fact. Okay. And the quote of the day is, God placed the best things in life on the other side of tear. Will Smith. And I really like that quote because a lot of times we're afraid to take that step. We're afraid to reach out and try something new. But once you try that something new, you realize it wasn't so bad. And before you know it, you learned a great deal and you've conquered your fear. You've become a little braver, a little more courageous. And the cultural fact of the day is Brazil's samba dance is rooted in African culture stemming from Nigeria, Africa, Angola, Africa, as well as the Congo in Africa. So keep that in mind as we continue on today. Now, our topic at hand is how we can start recognizing and taking claim to our culture globally. Let that marinate. Now, before we really dive in, I want to kind of rewind us back a step, okay? When you watch this show, I want you to be able to take some gems away. I want you to be able to identify and understand the message I'm trying to relay to you, okay? So think back to about the 1800s, the past, our ancestors, be it they were 15, 17, they were pretty sharp. And when you look at footage of them in the past, they held themselves with such pride and sophistication. Their words they used so much vocabulary. They spoke very intellectually, very advanced for their age. And you notice over time that that's kind of decreased a little bit. These days, you have 20-year-olds that can barely put a sentence together. So that's not by happenstance. We all know that policies are made to affect us in ways through biology and so and so. And, what we take into our bodies, it affects our mind, our concentration, how we focus. If you're drinking alcohol, smoking, all that, doesn't matter if it's weed or not, all that plays a hand. How many rappers who do business take a break from smoking so that they can concentrate? Get the message and try it, that way you can tune in when you need to tune in. And I know it's hard, but we got to work on that because, again, practice makes perfect. And the more aware you are, then the more you can overcome. In Flint, Michigan, the water is poisoned with lead and all kind of other craziness, unfortunately for those people. And it has side effects. Lead stays in the body, and the children get affected. Because why? Because it affects their learning, their ability to retain information, to remember, to be able to learn, to focus, and then, of course, the behaviors. People want us to act like our stereotypes, so they're going to do things to propel that so they can make more policy. So keep that in mind, and let's just really tune in and focus on focusing and getting the message that I'm trying to relay to you today. So with that said, again, diving into our topic, recognizing and taking claim to our culture, I want to start by asking you guys this question. How can we recognize what we don't know. We are taught that, like we said before, our slavery is the start of our lessons, but we don't even get taught about the other slaves that got branched to the different areas of the world. And not only did they get branched, but how did they preserve their culture? How did they pass it downward and, let it become a part of their lives? What were the roots of which they came from? What did they hold important that they felt needed to be preserved no matter what? So these are things we are not being taught, unfortunately, throughout our educational experiences. And by the time we get to college, if you make it into college, you maybe get a little snippet. I know I took an African American women's studies course, and I learned some things. I did, but it wasn't a whole lot. But I told myself, why didn't I learn about this earlier? I learned about warriors, queens, little bit of stories, that were passed throughout the generation. But again, this is stuff we should be learning from the time we can talk, time we can say our ABCs from the womb. So, and I recognize it's not our fault, just as how the environments we are in are, toxic for us. It's not our fault. And going on, even the warriors, even our historical figures, Cleopatra, Shaka Zulu, we see that the color of their skin is becoming a lot lighter and lighter throughout time in history books, when we know doggone well they were black. So let's keep that in mind and start to recognize that we need to understand how to recognize our culture and identify it and take claim to it. We need to study and learn cultures and the practices and influences that our African culture have on those other cultures. I mean, we see it everywhere. We know that, but do you really know how and what ways? Take, for example, Brazil. I know you guys might be tired of me throwing samba down your throat, but there's a reason why I was drawn to it to begin with. There's a reason. I love the culture. I love the dance. And samba actually originated, just like in our cultural fact I told you today. The dance originated in mainly Angola, Africa. And the rhythm, the drums and such, mainly came from Africa and Nigeria. So, if you know anything about the history of Brazil, the slaves that came up to mainly Bahia, the slave trade, and they trickled down throughout time, they preserved their culture very well. If you've heard of capoeira is a martial art that was disguised in a dance so that they could preserve their movements and be able to protect themselves. You have Yoruba religion, which stems from Nigeria, Africa, my family's country, where Orishas and the worshiping of the Yemanja and Ogun and these gods and goddesses originate from. They still practice that to this day in Brazil. And then you look at samba and the influences of samba and carnival. Again, Brazil they take pride in at least announcing that their roots are firmly African. So we need to do the same. We need to recognize that, appreciate that as one people. Now let's not just always go and divide ourselves into tribes, ADO West, Yoruba, to Caribbean. At the end of the day, we're all black. Whenever we go out that door, everyone else that's not our skin tone, what they see is this, okay? Doesn't matter what you do, what they see is this. This is who you are to them first. So we have to look at ourselves as one people. Before Africa even got divided into the different countries, it was one continent, one country, and all black people united as one people. So let's keep that in mind as we go forward. We need to really work on our unity. Yes, we can support each other in our own, fights, whether it be for ADOS reparations or what have you. but we also need to come together and start uniting. So that's a little history on Brazil, and I really try to put it out there to you guys because, again, it needs to be shared. And I would like for people to have as much interest in it as I do, because, again, it's a part of our history. It's something that we need to be passing down to our next generation so that they can start to become familiar with who they are and the power in which they come from. Now, be proud and share, like the African talking drums, the sudu, which is the heart of the drum in samba. I love to dance to live music, by the way, but the sudu is the live, the heartbeat of the drums, and it's a bass drum. And the origination of the bass drum is the talking drums. And the talking drums, which mainly were used in Nigeria, Yoruba, and the Hausa tribe, were used to communicate, help the tribesmen communicate with each other, whether they were under threat or, so we need to be like the talking drums and send these messages to each other about our roots, our culture, so that we can be empowered. We can empower ourselves. We don't need to wait for somebody else to do it, because let me tell you, people have already proven that they're not willing to teach us and tell us our history, whether they have it or not. I mean, cultures, they don't always acknowledge our African roots as Brazil does. They would rather just sweep it under the rug as if it never happened. We always see it in the cultural appropriation, from our braids to hip hop. Okay, let's take for braids, for example. We see that when us Black folks, we go in for a job interview with braids or locks, we typically get turned away. Am I right? Just on site. People be like, ugh, how unprofessional, how uncorporate. And they see us as unkept and ratchet. But that's a part of us. That is our natural hair texture. That is our roots. And you have a Caucasian person go in wearing the same hairstyle of locks or braids. What do they get seen as? They get seen as culturally competent, sensitive, and well-educated, and they get the job. And there's never even any acknowledgement, for the most part, as to the origination of our culture, like the braids and such. There's no mention of it. So people just like to take it and run with it and, try and mesh that into their own identity. And we've got to start calling that out, because, again, everything has meaning. Just as how the headdresses for Native Indians have meaning, so do we. Okay, Halloween time, I'm sure, is very offensive to them, because, again, majority of the headdresses that Indians are seen in are for chiefs. They symbolize something extremely powerful within their Native American community. So we need to be just as strong and just as determined to recognize and take claim. Okay, now we always have great, wonderful, modern day leaders doing wonderful things that never get highlighted. I mean, look at Dr. Sebi. How many of you actually knew that he went to court and, won his case, proving that he could cure AIDS and all these different ailments holistically? It's swept under the rug for a reason. But if we keep talking about it and we keep it alive, guess what? It will not die. It will not go anywhere. So it's up to us to pass on our history, whether it be through word of mouth, whether it be through journaling. We need to do the work starting today. And I mean, even look at hip hop. Hip hop started within the African community, African American community, and it was focused on the Black struggle, Black experience, culture. And then you had people come in who were non-Black, who was like, oh, we can make a profit off of this. And what did they do? They took it and run with it. Okay, that's what they did. They took it and ran and turned it into something to where nowadays you hardly see any Black artists, you hardly see any Black dancers on stage. A lot of times you think of Asians when you think of hip hop, especially in the dancing world. And even as far as what hip hop rappers or singers sing or rap, it's not exactly focused on the Black struggle or the Black experience. It's more focused on selling alcohol or drugs. It's nonsense. I don't even really listen to or tune into the music these days anymore. Me, I prefer my Afro beats. I'm a big fan of Yemi Alade, techno. Shout outs to them. But yeah, so we have to recognize that it's our responsibility to take claim and support ourselves, especially when the going is hot, okay? Let's not let it die out. We got to continue to support and let it thrive. So you see, we have to take claim to what is ours now. We need to support what is ours now, and we need to learn what is ours now. Again, discipline to learn. We have the money, we have the resources that it takes to put into our own education. We can go out there all day and put our money into canceled brands now like Gucci or these high-end brands, Jordan shoe or whatnot, but we can invest it into ourselves, into traveling more, into bringing teachers who could actually teach us our history. We can do that. We have the power to do that. We just need to believe in ourselves. America gives us this big misconception that we're incapable, like we're broke or whatnot, but yet alone we managed to pull in money left, right, and center, make hustles, and all day, just do our thing. So we got to believe in ourselves more to know that we can support each other. And that takes us, again, taking that leap of faith, even if it's a little fearful, and going out of our way to support our fellow brother or sister who's out there pushing this knowledge our way. Don't let them be a lone wolf out there. Let's have their back. When you see me teaching a class, I want all my Black folks to hop in that class with me and learn, because I'm sharing a part of our culture. I'm Nigerian, okay? It don't matter if you don't know where your slave ancestors came from. The fact of the matter is, my roots is also part of your roots. We are one people. We may be different tribes fighting for different things, but at the end of the day, we are united. Okay, especially in society in the way it's set up today, where racism still thrives. Now, knowledge is power and key to understanding what you are owed in reparations. How can you fully understand and know how much you are owed if you're not getting out there and you're not learning? You're not learning about your culture, about the things that our ancestors passed on. So, we know we're due, way overdue, especially with all the trickle-down effects, particularly Black Americans, descendants of slaves. So I support you for your fight in reparations. But again, we need to put in the effort to learn and support one another, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to determine how we move forward and whether our community thrives or whether we disintegrate. So let's do that, you guys. It starts with recognizing, it starts with believing in yourself, it starts with taking that leap of faith and not being afraid to try something new, not being afraid to get out there, read a book, to learn of a culture, to have new experiences, because once you become exposed, then it's easier to recognize. And I could tell you that a lot of you probably thought samba was associated just with the Hispanic culture. But it's a large part of our culture, and we need to really take claim to that. I don't care if I'm standing alone, okay? At least I know my heart is in the right place. But I would love it if everyone would be supportive and not only have my back, but have each other's back. Because it starts with making a move. It starts with taking the time and the effort and the energy to learn something new. Just learn something new. So on that note, you guys, thank you for tuning in to The Chocolate Lot. I hope you attained a gem today. And I will be teaching Samba on Thursday, May 16th at the Sierra 2 Center in Sacramento. So if you are down to learn, come through and learn. And I'll also be teaching more regularly soon, but I'm still getting the kinks and details worked out. But this is an exciting year. And, I know we're all going through different things, but, we got to support each other, whether it takes money or not. Okay? It doesn't take money to pick up a book and read. It doesn't, and sometimes it's worth putting money into if it means you're going to learn a little bit about yourself that's going to empower you. So let's make it happen, you guys. I deserve a sip of Mountain Dew, don't I? But yeah. So, all right, my loves. Take care. Again, thank you for tuning in to The Chocolate Lot with your girl, Almaruthe. Love y'all. Peace.